May I request the House to please rise as we welcome the Honorable Chief Justice of India.
Shri Bhajanlal Sharma ji, Honorable Chief Minister of Rajasthan, my esteemed colleagues from the Supreme Court of India, Justice Asanuddin Amanullah of the Dais, Justice Rajesh Bindal, Justice Prasanna Barale, Justice M. Koteshwar Singh, respected Diya Kumari ji, Shri Premchand Bairwa ji, Honorable Deputy Chief Ministers of State of Rajasthan, Justice Sanjeev Prakash Sharma, Honorable the Chief Justice Acting Rajasthan High Court and Executive Chairman of the State Legal Service Authority, Justice Dr. Pushpender Singh Bhati, Judge Rajasthan High Court and Chairman of the High Court Legal Service Committee, distinguished sitting and former judges of the High Court of Rajasthan, judges and senior judicial officers of the participating high courts in this national conference, learned Advocate General and Chief Secretary, learned Director General of Police, Civil and Police Department and other senior officers of the Government of Rajasthan, Registrar General and other judicial officers of the Rajasthan High Court, Member Secretary, officers and functionaries of the Rajasthan State Legal Service Authority, District Legal Service Authority, various other legal institutions, leading academic scholars, technological experts and resource persons, domain experts who are present here to enlighten us in this 3 days conference, members of the district judiciary, my dearest brave students, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening. My sincere apology for delaying this program. I got stuck in my some official responsibilities in Delhi, couldn't reach on time. I am apologetic to all of you. But before I begin to share my views on this very contemporary, a very important subject of this 3 days conference, I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to Honorable Chief Minister of Rajasthan for announcing the establishment of cyber courts. I also congratulate the High Court of Rajasthan and the State Legal Service Authority for launching various schemes or publishing the relevant material as a measure of access to justice for the common man. It gives me immense pleasure to be here in the inaugural session of this national conference on cyber safety, awareness, protection and inclusive access to justice. The learned Executive Chairman, his entire team in the State Legal Service Authority deserves congratulations for convening this timely and necessary dialogue, for placing cyber safety where it belongs. And in my words, the cyber safety is at the heart of the justice conversation. The fact that this is not a one-day event, but there are deliberations for 3 days, is itself a statement of seriousness and the importance that has been given to this theme. All of you will remember, हम सबको बचपन में बताया, पहले सोचो फिर बोलो, पहले समझो और फिर चलो. Think before you speak, understand before you act. In the digital world, where decisions are made in a click and harm can travel to the speed of light, this simple discipline becomes a form of protection. Cyber safety at its core is nothing but the modern expression of that very same old wisdom which I just shared with you. So, act with awareness, protect with care, and never assume that what happens familiar is necessarily safe. We often speak of cybercrime in the language of anecdotes. A fraudulent call, a stolen OTP, a manipulated video, just as Bhati gave so many illustrations, and a digital arrest scam. आप सबको मालूम है डिजिटल अरेस्ट पर मैंने जुडिशियल नोटिस लिया सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, और जब मेरे पास एक बुजुर्ग दंपति का कंप्लेंट आया कि उनकी सारी उम्र की कमाई जो थी उसको 1 सेकंड में लूट लिया गया, तो मैंने उस पर एक सो मोटो संज्ञान लिया, उसको रजिस्टर किया, और मैं उसको अभी भी मॉनिटर कर रहा हूँ। और मुझे कोई हेजिटेशन नहीं है, जो मैंने पिछली बार कई बार बहुत सारे सख्त ऑर्डर उसमें पास किए हैं, that whatever role the judiciary can play in getting this menace out of the country, we will not leave any stone unturned. Justice Bhati also explained to you the facts and figure that how the cyber crime is increasing so alarmingly. Lakhs of cases, you have more than 50,000 crore rupees have already been looted. That's the word I last time used in court, that it's a clear case of extortion and dacoity if the money has gone like that. The Ministry of Home Affairs has also come out with very alarming data and figures. More than almost 66 lakhs cyber fraud complaints are now pending in this country. Cyber fraud, therefore, is no longer a marginal problem. It is a mass phenomenon that is engaging global attention. As Dr. Bhati explained to you that recently when I organized the Commonwealth Judicial Educators Conference, and before that I was invited in Paris and in other some international platforms. Now this is becoming a very serious subject of discussion and deliberations, because cybercrime has no geographical barriers. It doesn't have any limitations. It's very difficult to find out the place where it opens and where it culminates in committing the crime. So unless you have a coordinated effort, a system which is based on collaboration, cooperation, it's very difficult to find out the people. I can give you one small example of my own. Every alternate day, I find that there is new site created in my name. So one or the other well-wisher will send on my mobile that look here, now be warned that this site has again been opened in your name. And since some of the recent photographs are available in public domain, they will all put it well there. Not only this, and then those sites are used to send different kind of messages. This I know personally, this has happened with me. In fact, on one of the day, my sisters and my young lawyers like my daughters, they received a message from one of the sites created in my name. Fortunately, the language was respectful, there was no offending language. Probably they knew my moral authority and they knew my fear also, that I will not be able to spare them in case I find that. And eventually, then I immediately instructed the cybercrime police authorities to find out something. Unfortunately, what's happening? All those sites are being generated from Nigeria. Now, this is the complexity of this offense when we talk about it. So, I was wondering that why the State Legal Service Authority, which has a command, a responsibility, or a duty assigned within the framework of, as we normally call under Article 39A of the Constitution, that we will provide free legal aid and access to justice on socio-legal issues. I was wondering that why the State Legal Service Authority has picked up a subject which ordinarily should be a subject concern of the cybercrime bureaus or the expert police agencies, or maybe of course the other law enforcing agencies. But I can answer this with confidence. It's only because the cybercrime is not merely a technological offense. It represents a barrier to justice at the most fundamental level. And when there is a barrier to the delivery of justice, our stakeholders, legal civil authority being the prime representative, it becomes our foundational duty to come forward and extend our helping hand to the people. Let's be very clear. When an elderly citizen loses lifelong savings to an impersonation scam, the injury is not financial only. It is emotional, it is social, it is institutional. When a deepfake video destroys a person's reputation, the harm is not merely online. It touches one's dignity, safety, livelihood, and often the courage to even approach authority. Therefore, in this era of digital age, we must be honest enough to recognize that technological vulnerability as a disability of access. A citizen who cannot navigate reporting portals, who cannot distinguish a legitimate notice from a fake summons, or who is intimidated by language of cyber procedures, is effectively excluded from justice. I therefore again congratulate the State Legal Authority that for taking this initiative and making an attempt to bring at least the procedural safeguards which can be, as of now, adopted by the citizens to protect themselves from this kind of heinous crime. That's why I admire that the conference theme has also been chosen by them. Moving forward, when we look beyond individual incidents, we begin to see a broader concern emerging. The digital revolution has undoubtedly brought unprecedented convenience. माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने कितनी बातें बताई आपको, डिजिटल वर्ल्ड से कितनी हमारी जिंदगी में सुधार हुआ है, कितनी ऐसी सुविधाएं हैं जो आम आदमी को बहुत आसानी से उनके द्वार तक पहुंचती है। जैसे न्याय प्रणाली में हम न्याय आपके द्वार की बात करते हैं, डिजिटल वर्ल्ड की डिजिटल सहायता के माध्यम से अगर सरकारें गरीब आदमी को उनके लाभ, उनकी जो उनके अधिकार हैं उनको पहुंचाने में अगर सक्षम हुई हैं, तो ये डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी का एक बहुत ही बड़ा सदुपयोग है। But the only concern is that when it starts to become unruly horse, then how to control it and how to prevent the consequences when the people start misusing that very technology for committing the very sophisticated kind of crimes. And this larger pattern I want to flag only to remind you that what is at stake in the battle against cyber crime is not the trust in the judiciary alone. As you all would agree, the rule of law itself rests upon predictability. Citizens must know where they stand. They must believe that institutions are real, accessible, and reliable. But when digital deception becomes widespread, predictably, there is no predictability, it gets eroded. And when manipulated images and fabricated voices circulate freely, the first casualty is what? Truth itself becomes contested. In such an environment, cyber safety is not only about protecting bank accounts, it is about preserving institutional trust. Without trust, even the most sophisticated justice system begins to weaken. The task before us, ladies and gentlemen, is to ensure that technological progress does not create a climate of silent anxiety. It is my belief that no discussion on cyber safety can ignore the rapid rise of artificial intelligence in the past few years. The recent landmark Global AI Summit recognized the world-altering ramifications of modern technology. AI today powers fraud detection systems, financial systems, digital governance platforms, and communication tools. It has the capacity to assist justice by accelerating research, improving translation, and detecting suspicious patterns. In fact, I am one of those who have very vocally supported the use of AI in the justice delivery system to the extent it can help in procedural speedy system. Of course, I have been putting a caveat that as far as the decision-making process is concerned, that should be based upon the complete human approach, and that is the job solely assigned as a divine duty to the judges to perform. But AI can be a game changer. It can be a very helping and powerful tool for speedy disposal of the matters, for providing access to justice, for providing an affordable justice system. As the Chief Minister also pointed out, that now you have virtual courts, you can file cases while sitting at home, you can find the status of your case while sitting at home, and you can even watch the proceedings, you can appear and you can argue your matters while sitting at home. Artificial intelligence magnifies intention, whether benevolent or malicious. That is what the question mark ultimately compels us to have this kind of deliberations as we propose to have in this conference. It is therefore not enough to ask whether technology is innovative. In this digital sphere, there is a dire need to cultivate ethical restraint. Regulations must be agile and institutions must be vigilant. As I have said on numerous occasions in the past also, technology should assist justice. It must never intimidate or replace justice. It is in this backdrop that this conference assumed profound significance. I welcome the range of initiatives being launched today by the State Legal Service Authority umbrella. I am particularly encouraged that the State Legal Service Authority is not limiting its response to advisory messages only, rather, it's building institutional pathways. The cybercrime redressal initiatives, which so many today have been launched, represent the move from intention to infrastructure. For a system becomes real only when it becomes reachable. And if a victim is compelled to travel through a maze of offices and procedures, justice has already become elusive for him. Equally significant is the emphasis on the educational ecosystem. The launch of the awareness campaign of schools and the booklets speaking to the young citizens, I think those are all remarkable. If we want long-term cyber safety, we must stop treating it as a post-crime intervention. Rather, start treating it as a civic education. The other initiatives too are of equal importance, and I'm quite sure that those will be very helpful to the citizenry, to the general public, particularly in the state of Rajasthan. And I believe that the State Legal Service Authority will ensure that not only the Hindi भाषा लोकल, मैं बार बात बोलता हूँ कि लोकल डायलेक्ट का ध्यान रखना बहुत जरूरी है। मीडिएशन में खासकर मैंने बात हर जगह कही है कि जब तक आप उस आदमी की जुबान को नहीं समझोगे और उसकी भाषा में, उसके शब्दों में जब तक आपका मीडिएटर बात नहीं करेगा, आपका मीडिएशन सफल नहीं हो सकता है। मुझे लगता है कि अगर साइबर क्राइम के बारे में भी हमें अगर अपनी जनता को, अपने परिवार को, अपने आसपास को, अपने पड़ोस को, अपने शहर को, गांव को, माहौल को, अगर उसको हमें उसके बारे में जागरूक करना है, तो इतना आवश्यक है कि हम उसी की भाषा में बोलें और उसी की भाषा को समझें। न उसके ऊपर ये भार आना चाहिए कि वो हमारी भाषा सीखे और हमें बताए, और न हमारे लिए अपवाद होना चाहिए। हमें उन्हीं की भाषा में समझना है और उसी की भाषा में उनको बात करना है। The solution, therefore, I am quite sure that will be emerging in this 3 days conference will be quite practical, collaborative, and sustained. Since cybercrime is adaptive, our institutional response must be swiftly adaptive as well. Banks, law enforcement agencies, technological platforms, courts, and legal service authorities all must function not as isolated silos, but in lockstep as coordinated partners. I am reminded of the immortal words of Sir C.V. Raman, and he has beautifully said, and I quote him, "The essence of science is independent thinking, hard work, and not equipment." And that is what, when you will understand this statement, it is a deceptively simple insight, but one that carries profound relevance for our own time when we are discussing, understanding, and facing the challenge of cybercrime. In this digital age, we are often dazzled by equipment, but the sophistication of digital processes, the scale of data networks, the speed of artificial intelligence, all these things are there, yet technology by itself guarantees nothing. Just as science advances, not merely through instruments, but through disciplined minds, justice in this digital era will not be secured merely through software, surveillance systems, or regulatory frameworks. It will be secured through clarity of thought, ethical restraint, and institutional vigilance. Ladies and gentlemen, if you cultivate that discipline, if you ensure that independent thinking guides innovation, that accountability tempers ambition, and that the most vulnerable citizens remains at the center of our design, then the digital republic will not weaken the rule of law, rather it will strengthen it. Let this conference mark that commitment. Let it affirm that India technological advancement will always remain subordinate to constitutional values, and we will continue to have constructive, optimistic, positive utilization of the e-technology by ensuring that it does not result into multiplied cyber frauds, crimes against our citizenry, against our innocent citizens. Let us deliberate and find out all those solutions in this conference. My best wishes to the participants, to the domain experts, to the subjects experts who are here to guide us. All my best wishes to the State Legal Authority, to the High Court of Rajasthan, and to the State Government for organizing this event. I am extremely thankful to Honorable the Chief Minister, the State Government, the Acting Chief Justice, Rajasthan High Court, and all of you for giving me this opportunity to share my views. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.